Going live in five, four, three, two, and we are live coming to you from Southern California in LA. Where it's raining today,
I know,
but
it's
we
so
still
weird.
we still have sunshine. We have a
Tony,
little
Tony, Tony
echoing
told us it
with
didn't
my
rain here,
co-host
but
here. You're echoing still, but it's okay. We're gonna deal with it. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Idalis, and we're gonna put Alan in the green room. And you are watching right now. I just have to check sound, guys. You are watching Let's Talk on Camera, and I'm just going to check my sound real quick. Always got to do that on Facebook. That's how you do it. What's up, everybody? If you are watching live, put hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, put hashtag replay. If you're watching from the East Coast, put we are watching from the East Coast. We are watching live, and we're just
West Coast,
checking.
where you at?
Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Oh, I lost one of my Facebooks. Okay, so I'm just checking sound, guys, and we're gonna be good in a second. Let me just check sound here. We are live. We are all the way live. Let me just fix the sound right here. We got sound. What's up? It's Idalis. It's Let's Talk on
Pew, pew,
Camera,
pew, pew,
and
pew.
you are watching Idalis on idalismedia.com. It is raining again, like I said. Usually it's sunny every day here, but we need the rain, so it's good. What's up, guys? I want to introduce you my co-host today, my special co-host with the mostest, the hostess with the mostest. It's Dee Dee Lashley. Dee Dee,
Hello.
Dee Dee was my assistant for many years. She's amazing. She's just like my little sister. She's family now. She came out to help me with this little complicated show today. And thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dee Dee, for
My
helping me out.
absolute pleasure. Thank you.
There's a slight echo on her mic, but it's okay. We try to fix it. Just deal with it, folks. It's gonna be. We'll fix it in post.
Yep.
Uh, but you are watching me, Idalis. This is Idalis, idalismedia.com. If you want to go and check out more things, this is all about on-camera performance. We are interview anybody who's on the front lines in terms of entertainment, hospitality, just anything entertainment, anything that's under the camera, which is about everything.
Yep.
If you want to learn more about that, go to idalismedia.com. This is Let's Talk on Camera, all things media and entertainment, interviewing those on the front lines of art, politics, entertainment, hospitality. Dee Dee, I introduce. We're going to do a little housekeeping.
Yep.
Let's do East Coast, West Coast.
Yes. East
Watching from
Coast,
the
West
East
Coast,
Coast.
hashtag wherever you're from, wherever you at, we're worldwide. You know
Yep.
what it is. So
All right,
I
guys.
am a proud student of iDalas's. I've been on TNC. I've been on camera plenty of times. I am a product of her teaching, and I'm proud.
Do you need to maybe lower it a little bit? We're getting
Okay.
still a camera, but we'll deal with that, guys. That's the way. That's what happens when you do a live show.
Yeah.
Whatever will go wrong will go wrong. So live is a lot harder than pre-recorded, but it's also a lot more fun. The algorithm really loves it, and it puts out your video more. If you are watching this live, then please put in hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, put in hashtag replay. And if you're making a comment and you want to ask a question, please ask a question, and we'll take your question. Hold on a second, guys. Just wanted to add one more destination, and I'm going to introduce Alan in a second. Facebook profile. Hold on, guys. I'm just dealing with some tech issues. In five, four. There we go. Okay. Very good. Let me see if it changes. I just added the other profile. Okay, guys. So let me take this off. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. So, Dee Dee, did you see the
Yes.
beautiful footage that I showed you earlier?
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about my next guest. I am so excited. Let me put up,
Same.
just deal with me here because I have to pull up some tech issues here. Hold on, guys. Let me bring this up to the front. One moment. Share screen, and we're going to do this.
I mean, this is just gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous how pretty this is.
Okay, guide me, Dee Dee, if I'm showing something I'm not supposed to show, okay? All right, go. Is it playing? Okay, so my next guest is Okay, guys, my next guest is CEO of DUNN-TRES LA, a premier catering company that serves up exquisite cuisine at spectacular venues with a five-star staff waiting on you hand and foot. An A team works out at three locations. Let's see, Carondelet House. Is it showing Carondelet House?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Carondelet House. It's a 7,000 square foot Italian inspired 1920s brick building in Los Angeles and an amazing venue with hand stenciled fresco ceilings, drawing rooms, baby grand piano, and cobblestone courtyards.
I'm so
I
fascinated by his like fascination with architecture and
I've
historical
been there and
buildings. I think that
it's
that's
absolutely
amazing.
beautiful. Let me brag about my friend here. Um, but Alan says the second location is his crown jewel, which is the Ebel. Am I showing Ebel?
No,
Okay, one second. The Ebel is so
and
amazing.
that's in Dallas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
No, the Ebel is in Long
Long
Beach.
Beach. That's
Mm-hmm.
right.
Mm-hmm. Hold on a second, guys. I gotta do the presentation, top screen. And this is the Ebel right here. Let me show you guys. Ebel.
It's a beautiful space.
This is the Ebel. He says that's his crown jewel because although Carondelet is like 7,000 square feet, the Ebel in Long Beach boasts 17,000 square feet, has
Incredible.
cascading palm trees that frame the entrance, and it's a restored historic landmark. He meticulously restored it. It's so beautiful.
Oh my God, I need to like get in a relationship so I can get married there.
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously, it's so gorgeous.
Yeah, you need the relationship first, Didi.
I will.
That might help. And let me bring up to the screen the Mason. Hold on a second, guys.
Also, too, I
Mason.
really want to ask him about the Chateau Marmont,
Yeah,
because
this is the Mason. Check out the Mason. And I love the
oh, those are
canes.
the
Look at
canes.
that
Oh
canes.
my
Look at
God.
that. Isn't that gorgeous? So this is his third
God.
location. He just recently opened up this location. It's actually the Oak Cliff Masonic Lodge, uh, number 705. So it must have been the private club for the Masons,
It's
right? So
reminiscent of like a Louisiana like Southern woman whose like husband died under mysterious circumstances and she came into a lot of money.
Didi, maybe try taking off your headphone and turning it, maybe just doing it without it. So I can hear you. If you'd have to unplug the mic. So the Mason was designed by prominent Dallas architect Herbert Green. It's almost 100 years old. The building has been thoughtfully reimagined for like
God, it's
no other
beautiful.
special event place in Dallas. So just recently opened that up. Didi, did you take them off?
Mhm.
Still not going. I'm sorry, Didi.
Okay. Wait, I
We're
did.
dealing with technical difficulties, but look at this place. It's so stunning. So let me talk about Alan. I'm totally just this is amazing. Hold on, guys. Let me just remove this. But Alan made his mark in Los Angeles as the famed Chateau Marmont at the famed Chateau Marmont, and it's been, which you know, Chateau Marmont. It's a landing pad for rock stars and rich and famous,
Well-ish.
Hollywood A-listers. Um, can you lower your mic, Didi?
He's
Because it's
muted.
getting me too. Sorry, guys, we're having sound issues. So he made his mark at Chateau Marmont. It's been, hold on a second, maybe it's me too. Sorry, guys, we're marred by sound issues. It's been
Yeah, it's
a
okay.
landing pad for rock stars and rich and famous Hollywood A-listers between marriages and writing memoirs, rehabbing, or overdosing, whichever one happened first. It definitely was not going to be leaked to the press ever. Uh, it's here that Alan curated his frame of reference for architectural design and five-star food and beverage service to an exclusive clientele. And Alan comes to us to speak about his mentors, his road from Texas to New York to LA, His latest venture is a fancy food truck. He's going to kill me for saying food truck. And all things hospitality. Welcome, Mr. Impresario, the man with the mostest, the host of them all, and my dear friend.
Wunderbar.
Hold on.
Hello.
Hello,
That's
Ellen.
quite an introduction.
I know, isn't that awesome? I mean, there's a lot.
Well, there is, but you did it well. You did me right. Thank you.
You do a lot. So,
How are
Dee,
you
is
both?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, as a person who's worked in the service industry, will probably continue to until whatever dreams I have will be fulfilled. I
this is
have a huge respect for your work ethic. I've done a little sleuthing myself, and I think you're dope. Like,
Well,
I'm
thank
really
you.
impressed.
Alan, this is the last one you opened up, the third location. This is the Mason, right?
Yeah, that's a Mason in Dallas. And
Incredible.
like you said, it was an old Masonic lodge. And yeah, it was like a long time coming because, I bought it and then redid it. And I had to, I mean, the Masons were still occupying it when I bought it. And
Oh,
I had to
Wow.
let them kind of figure out, what the next move was going to be. And it took a bit. And then I finally, we found another place for them, and they have been there, at this new place. I just started on the work on this and then opened up like right in 2020, like January
what drew you to
2020.
this space?
What's that?
What drew you to this space?
Well, I grew up in Dallas. So I've been looking for a long time for properties in Dallas. And in fact, that's where I see a lot of, potential growth. I love that market. So, just growing up in Dallas, knowing the area, knowing, the real estate, it was just
Is
a,
it somewhere that you walk by like all the time, like on just a regular day?
You came back
no,
home.
what's that?
You came back home full circle,
I
Alan.
did. I did. Yeah.
What
And it feels
brought
good.
you out
I
here?
love an excuse to go back.
What brought you to LA?
Well, that's a story we're going to get into. But first, we need to congratulate Alan on winning California's Wedding Day Best of 2023 as Best
That's
Overall Vendor.
incredible.
So that's a big deal magazine, isn't it? Alan, isn't
I mean, it's definitely like the magazine for the wedding industry. And they do
Wow.
a big award show every year. And it's kind of
That's
the Academy Awards of the events industry. So everybody gets dressed up in like tuxedos and fancy clothes and goes
drinks
and
free champagne.
hands out awards for things like best florist and
That's awesome.
no,
you
like
know
the best of the best in the business, right?
yeah. So
Wow.
we got best caterer and best overall vendor this
That's huge.
2023, which was really nice.
Yeah, that is really nice. Well, I love that you won that, and we have plenty to get into of how Alan started, how we met. But let's get down to the gritty. Let's talk about Chateau Marmont.
Okay. After all this time, that's still the most intriguing thing. That's
Oh,
great.
but isn't it amazing, like Alan, that that's still something that comes up all the time? I mean, you got to hand like, but this started before even Andre Balaz got there,
Yep.
like, didn't it?
What, what's
It's
that?
been infamous for a
That it's such a big
long
deal. Even
time. It's a big deal.
yeah, even promoting your show, honestly, people were like, really, until I started, and they're interested in you, obviously, with all that you've done. That's why I did the big open for you because what you achieved is beyond anything. But the
Yeah,
fact that Chateau Marmont is in that mix, and
it's
Mhm.
massive.
it's so ingrained as part of your story that it's still the thing, right?
Oh my God, it's I mean, it's still a very, very special place.
Yeah.
I think I told you before that I recently stayed there with my family. We had a small house fire last year, and so we were there for a little over a month. And then
Oh my
now my kids all have their own chateau stories because
gosh.
they stayed in their own little bungalow,
I love it.
and my wife and I were in in a suite in the main hotel, and so it was awesome. It was like a little staycation for for the family, and The kids totally, I mean, everybody knows my family more than they know me at the Chateau now. It's crazy. It's like, you know,
my God.
my wife is like, you know, they roll out the red carpet when she's there because she just befriended everybody, and she's like, you know, so interested in everyone that they all like gravitate.
They love her.
Big time.
Was it weird for you to be there with your family? Did you look at the corridors in the kitchen and go, wow, like, did it bring up memories, or
it did, and only positive ones. And I was so excited about the opportunity because, you know, I mean, they know how much fun I had when I worked there, and heard stories, all crazy stories from the Chateau. And, you know, and like I said, now they have their own stories. I mean, they're, you know, just the kids ordering room service all day and climbing out on the roof of their bungalow and locking the doors behind them. And, you know,
this is the Chateau corridor where many things have happened. And it just looks so much like your place, the three places that we showed earlier.
Yeah.
You know,
Definitely.
Chateau Marmont obviously was a big, big influence on you.
Big time. Big time. And, you know, I mean, you see touches of it in all three venues.
Say that again, Alan?
I said, you see touches of it in all three venues. I mean, it definitely sort of, you know, was inspired or stole ideas, but we have little seating vignettes at Carondelet House, just like they have at in the lobby of the Chateau. The Ibel in Long Beach is probably the most similar to the Chateau, but there's definitely a lot of influence because it's just so beautiful. And what I love about it the most is it's imperfect. You know, it's like it got a timeless style. It doesn't feel like you're like staying at a Ritz-Carlton or, you know, a fancy Four Seasons or something. They're very generic and very, you know, sterile. They're beautiful, but this has just got so much personality, the Chateau. And that's what I love about it, you know?
That's why I put up the keys. I love their keys, the little tassel.
I want that. I love it.
Yeah. Let me move on here, guys. I'm sorry. I'm doing a little bit of both. Andre Balas's influence on you, what was that like? What was it working with him?
Well, I think everybody has, you know, their own version of, you know, their own story with Andre. And for somebody like me, I was the food and beverage director. So working with him, I got like the peripheral, you know, like the broad strokes version of him. But what I will tell you is, love him or hate him or, you know, whatever. I mean, he's got, you know, definitely some detractors and some diehard fans, but the guy is really, really good at making you feel like you are, like, he's very connected with you. So, you know, I've said that before, and I've heard other people say it, that, you know, he makes you kind of feel like when he's, you know, you're having a conversation, the only person in the world, which is a great, you know, attribute to have. But, you know, the flip side of that is my old boss, Phil, the general manager of the Chateau, had a totally different and more personal and closer experience, and, like, you know, did not have a positive, the same sort of experience. You know, I mean, it wasn't like, it was a very different, because they were so close, and, you know, he just let Phil have it, and, like, you know, he saw the bad end of him.
But that's a different relationship because he had a different function.
Yeah, totally. Like I said, mine was definitely more broad strokes and peripheral than.
And so as a food and beverage, like, in terms of, so his effect on you, definitely with the architecture, with creating an experience and an ambiance for celebrities who wanted to get away from everything. And you've kept that going. You've worked with so many celebrities. When I asked you in our pre-interview, you said, I asked you, I was like, well, what celebrities have you worked with? Let me look it up. And when I saw the list, it was like 300 celebrities. I was like 400. I was like, oh my God.
It's been like 20 years. So
yeah, it's 20 years of working. So did you recently do the Jay-Z and Beyonce, like the not the Grammys, it was the Oscars after party, right?
Yeah, the gold party. We did that like 2 years in a row. So of course I think it was the last one where I'm on my way into the chateau, and I'm in the back of the car, and I'm like watching somebody texted me about the Chris Rock thing, and I thought it was like a joke. And I saw it, and I was like, oh my God. And I think it was Diddy said, okay, you guys settled this at the gold party, afterward. You guys are going to settle this at the gold party. So everybody thought, oh my God, what is going to happen, But of course, neither one of them showed up at the gold party.
So
he's probably one of the most charming people that I've ever met in my entire life.
Who? Chris Rock?
Jay-Z.
Chris Rock? Oh, Jay-Z. Yeah, he's great. Brooklyn.
Yeah, Jay-Z, of course, was there.
He's absolutely lovely.
So let's go back to your start. I know that you were doing house catering for the Park Plaza. Like, I don't know if everybody in LA remembers the Park Plaza, but I know before it was the Park Plaza. Was it in a nightclub?
It was. Yeah, I think it was called Power Tools or something, but that was before.
Power Tools. Yes, yeah. Power Tools. That's the name of it. Okay, that was the first club I came to in LA, guys. That was the first club I ever been to in LA, and I was like, oh my God, LA's amazing.
I'm a semi-retired raver, so I know it very well.
That building was that building was a bank before. It was a beautiful bank, and I love like the architecture of buildings that are like historic landmarks. That was a historic landmark, and they changed it into a club.
Well, it is a historic landmark, and it was actually built as an Elks Lodge in like 1913. Yeah, wow. And so it's a massive, massive, super creepy building that what you're referring to, Idalis, I think, is we used to do all of their catering for their events there, and we worked out of their kitchen. So I ran the whole operation out of the Park Plaza kitchen. And the funny thing is, that video for Maroon 5 Sugar?
Oh, wait. Yeah, I remember that video.
Yeah, so that was shot at my building, Carondelet House. Like when they first start the video, they're coming out of my building. Hey guys, I can't remember what they say, but yeah. And then they take off in their car. Well, every wedding that they went to, except for the one that was at Carondelet House, was shot at the Park Plaza, and they were all kind of like staged weddings, except for the one that was shot at Carondelet House, which was like the only real wedding that had a real reaction, and Maroon 5 really played at the Carondelet House for the bride and groom. They had no idea. They had to sign, NDAs and stuff saying that, and they didn't even know until they were surprised that it was Maroon 5. But I thought that was so cool.
That is so cool. Let me show Carondelet House for a second. Let me share my screen. Hold on a second, guys. Tell me the story about Carondelet House.
Well, how I found it, or?
Yes. So you were catering. So for my audience out there that's been working in catering and is interested in the high-end catering, you went from caterer at leaving Chateau. What was that like leaving Chateau? And Didi, come back when you're ready. What was it leaving like Chateau and going out on your own, first of all? So for the people who are working their jobs and they want to go out on their own, what were the steps that led you? Was it little jobs, and then you decided to do?
Yeah,
it's relationships, isn't it? Relationships too.
It is, and I knew enough people from being at the Chateau, and I was doing events for people like Selma Blair and her wedding, and Craig Kilborn, his birthday parties, and things like that outside of the Chateau, that I knew that I could make a pretty good go of it with the people that I knew, and so I definitely had a leg up with just from having worked at the Chateau and been there for a while, and just getting to know people in the events industry. So that was definitely my leg up, and it was a super, super, super small operation when I started. It was just, very, we started in a church kitchen. I literally read that Martha Stewart started her catering company in a church kitchen. And I thought, oh God, that's a great idea. And I went around, you know, the neighborhood that I lived in, and went to the churches and found one guy that was willing to rent me his kitchen. And so I started Trail A out of a church kitchen.
You did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Because
And,
the kitchen has to be almost like a commercial kitchen in order to do
well,
volume,
it does.
right?
And so it was like totally illegal in the beginning, but
Right. What do you got to do? What you got to do?
You got to do what you got to do. Yeah. So
Turn everything off.
you know, shortly after that, I found, you know, I still own this kitchen, but I found a kitchen that I was able to buy, and now we have a couple of commissaries, commercial kitchens.
That's fantastic. Oh, look
Yeah.
at this. So beautiful. So when you walked, so what happened? So you were doing clients, you got you got a string of clients, and you were off and running, right? I actually bumped into you at the television museum, and I was eating this little fufu thing, and it was like, and you came over and you're like, oh, what are you doing here? Like, I thought you were just invited. You're like, no, I'm catering the party. I'm like, what? I'm like, great. It was for Final Draft, I think, that day. It was at the television museum in Beverly Hills. So you had your clients, and then what made you, so you worked out of that kitchen, and what made you find Coron de Leon? Like, how did you go, okay, I need to get more of a foundational place that I own myself?
Yeah.
And you bumped into Coron. Tell me the story about Coron de Leon House.
I'm going to give you, I'll tell you like well, I found, and like literally found it on Craigslist.
You found it on Craigslist? That's
I did, but I'll tell you, like, I'm not like a person that's big into like karma or whatever, but I will, the day before I found Coron de Leon House on Craigslist, I was coming home late at night from the gym, and I used to live kind of up in the hills off of Cahuenga, and I'm driving home at like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and I see this money. I'm on Highland Avenue, and I see this, like, these bills floating on Highland and like Franklin. And are you there, Idalis?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. I just saw me.
We're just listening.
I didn't know if this was like a soliloquy.
Yeah, I wanted to give you the center stage.
Okay. So anyway, I'm going through the story. I see this money floating around. I'm like, what is that money? So I turn my car around. Sure enough, I'm picking up all these $20 bills, and, you know, it's all over Highland and like in the gutter and whatever. And I pick everything up and come home, and it was like $460 or something like that. And but in one of the little wads that I grabbed was a guy's driver's license and like a withdrawal slip from Wells Fargo in like Marin County outside of San Francisco. And so the next day I looked up this guy online and found a number, and it was a dead number. And so I go to my bank, which is Wells Fargo, and talked with the manager and said, hey, I think this guy dropped this money. I found it on the on the street. And then she's like, and I knew the bank manager. She's like, what? Why would you return it? As she said, I don't know anybody that would do that. And I was like, I honestly don't know anybody that wouldn't, you know, return it. But she got in touch with the manager in San Francisco. He got in touch with the guy. The guy gets on the phone with me, and I said, just deposit in his account. And he had withdrawn like $800, and I found like 460 of it.
What?
And the guy's like, thank you so much. God bless you. God bless you. I was walking and it fell out of my jacket pocket, and he was going to buy a car, and he couldn't believe that he lost all of his money. And I said, no problem. And he said, just God bless you. God bless you. And literally the next day I found Coron de Leon on Craigslist. I was just looking for a venue to do a client's kind of a speakeasy party. And I just typed in like red brick or something like that. And they were just renting it for film shoots and stuff. And it was just kind of a dilapidated building, but I was able to get in touch with the owner and wound up buying it.
Wow. And so you kind of just stumbled upon it, really.
Totally. I mean, literally.
Look at that entrance. Oh my God.
You're like those people that have, like, you know, $5 stocks in Apple, and just like, oh yeah, you know, I just thought that would be
I wish I had $5 stock in Apple.
Right.
And, you know, they became millionaires overnight.
So you bought Carondelet House. Well, the buying wasn't easy either. You rented it at first, didn't you?
I did for a couple of months, and then because he didn't want to sell it, and then I did all this work to it, and it was a very, very different building. I mean, it was very compartmentalized, and I had to open it up, and you see a bunch of like, all of the walls and stuff I had to knock down. But I was like, I'm putting all this work and money into it, and it just does not make sense for me not to own it. So I talked with the owner again, and I said, I definitely want to buy it. He said, okay. And then he gave me a price that was like 500 grand more than he was asking for it like 3 months prior.
Meanwhile, you fixed it up already.
And I said, listen, I know what you were asking 3 months ago. And he said, well, now it's a much more attractive building with an attractive tenant.
He fixed it up.
I know.
Charging you for fixing it up.
Seriously. And I was like, wow, you got to do what you got to do. But I had to just bite the bullet. And I'm so glad that I did, because 12 years later, I mean, I bought that in 2011. It's been just such a game changer.
It has been. And then there you were off and running. How were the first couple of events? Were you happy, like when, were you happy that you got the plays? I mean, it's so stunning.
Thank you. I mean, we just had to start booking events, and we booked events when we were like in the middle of construction, and just to get people in, we just started booking events, and then it really became a super popular place. And I think there's a lot of buildings that are similar to it now. And quite frankly, people have copied the model. People have, caterers and stuff have got their own venues, but there weren't many like it when, in 2011 when I bought it.
And what motivated you is that you could do 100 events a year. And
Exactly.
when you said that to me, not pre-interview, I was like, 100 events a year? I can barely get out of bed and brush my teeth. A fucking 100 events. And it's like so much, like event planners are like, just make a list and check it off. And I'm just like, when you have to do food, venue, music,
right,
all that. And that's why you being voted the overall vendor, because like you can do food really well, you can do one other thing really well, but to do all of them well, which is what you're gifted at, is incredible.
Question, like what are your hiring practices, and what do you look for in someone that you want to work for you?
So all y'all looking for a job, go to the website.
Please, it's like
TRESLA.com, especially if you have some really good credits and credentials and relationships. But you want to expand, and you want to be in an atmosphere where your gifts are appreciated. One of the things that Alan does really well is create a cultural environment that creates a really good working environment. He's an artist himself, and that's why he fell in love with hospitality. We've both worked in hospitality, and that's why I wanted to do this kind of show and podcast, is because they're such incredible artists, and it's such a labor of love. So what is your hiring practices? Definitely don't hire your family and friends, right?
I've made that mistake for sure.
You have, right? In the beginning, right?
Yep, I've made that mistake. I have, I would say that I have learned from my lesson, from my mistakes, but I still do it. I still, kind of will go down that road. But I've, for the most part, I'm kind of out of the business of hiring friends or
You have like an HR department now, like kind of like a screening
HR department. We have like,
people.
somebody who's like a full-time recruiter who just
deal with it.
hires people for us, hires the right fit, somebody that knows that it's, it's a really unique skill set that people have to have, because not only do they, when you're doing events and you have sort of a, high brow touch or whatever, there's an expectation. You've got to look the part, you've got to dress the part. We've, put a lot into like our uniforms, and, those are all like bespoke, and our staff is all, we have like this DUNN-TRES Academy where we train all of our staff, and everybody has to go, we're not just using schlubs from, a service that, I would say 90% of the catering companies out there just go to like a temporary staffing agency.
Right. They've been through the process, the DUNN-TRES process.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you, it's been a lot harder since COVID. It's been harder to get people to work. So for the first time ever, we had to lean on staffing agencies like right out of COVID. But that didn't
Right.
last
You
long.
have to. You have
Yeah.
to. You have to. Yeah.
And then we had these events, and we had to have people there, and everybody was still making more money from the government than they were from working. So they were like, why would I go to work and lose this free money?
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Well, you should still feel proud, Alan, because what you've achieved is like really extraordinary. I don't know if
Oh,
you've
thank
been
you.
recognized lately, but it's like I just want to give it up to you. And we're going to talk about your family too, because having a wife at home that can hold it down, like big ups to the wifey, like holding
Yeah,
it down
you know,
while you
Nina.
create this career. I think it's a family affair when you have to do something amazing. So you should be proud of yourself. We're going to talk about Trey catering, the three services outside of the venue. So that not outside of the venue, it's in the umbrella. The trade catering, the bar catering, which is Sweetwater, and then you have this thing called room service, which you bring the lunches and boardroom lunches and dinners basically. What are your clients? What are some of your clients? You told me. I don't want to say the wrong companies.
Well, I mean, you know, our big client is Meta, and so
Oh,
we do.
Meta, Facebook. Hey,
Yeah,
Facebook.
yeah.
Facebook.
So you know, it's so funny when we first got this count. I was like, how many employees did they have? And this is just LA. I thought it was like 8 guys in a garage somewhere. I'm like, what is there?
Because you're not
What
a
is there
Facebook
going on?
person. Because you're
Yeah,
not
I'm
a
not.
Facebook person.
I'm not at all. But I'm like, what could that be? But it's a lot, and that is
Wow.
another game changer. We just love, you know, being able to be part of that organization. But it also inspired us to do another thing because, you know, at Meta, there's like a multi-million-dollar kitchens that we're cooking out of, and it's incredible. But if you want to compete with the Metas and the Googles and the Spotifys of the world, and you don't have, you know, a $2 million kitchen, what we created room service, which is basically you sign up, your company signs up, and we deliver hot boxed meals for your entire staff on a daily basis. And they can order up to a month in advance, and all of the packaging is compostable and biodegradable. And it's just super, it's high end, it's incredibly good, and the menu changes every month. And so it's a great alternative to, you know, like I said, if you don't have a full commissary at your property, then room service is a great answer to that. And
If you had to do it all over again, because there's a lot of business owners who don't want to just go through the thing, because sometimes when you build up this big thing, be careful what you wish for, right?
totally,
Would
100%.
you give business owners like to maybe go straight to the corporate thing, or is that's a relationship building thing? You have to build up your reputation, obviously. But if you've built it up to a certain amount, like, do you think that just going straight to like corporate catering, or is there a certain type of person you have to be to do that?
Everybody's got their own sort of journey, and some, you know, there's a lot of people that are chefs that own catering companies, and that's incredible because they have obviously the culinary acumen, and they can really, you know, but they don't have the business side of things. And I think I've got a
Right,
little bit of both. Like I know
right.
about food, I know about, you know, hospitality itself, I know about business.
Yeah, you
Um,
have to have a little bit of both. You have to have the artistry, the passion, the
yeah,
skills, because
the
cooking and
design.
presenting is a
Yeah,
skill. One of the things I love about you guys, and I'll print this up here, is I love the food, the way you guys do the food.
thank you.
Like this is the plating. I love the salmon with the thing. I mean, just is just out. I mean, it's just over. It's just amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, you know what? I mean, it's one of the biggest markets in probably the world, Los Angeles, for events. So you have to bring, you know, your A game. You have to
You do.
do something really nice and consistent. And it's not all about beautiful, artful plating. It's about consistently delicious food. But I would say equally as important is the whole production side, the operations, and from the top down, like, you know, and the chef-owned catering companies can make an incredible meal and do it for 20 people. But when we're doing something for 2,000 people, it's a very, very different production. You got to be able to do that well. And that's what our company does. You know, we do stuff, big stuff all the time, almost every week. and not many people can do the boutique-y, things and do a dinner for 50 people or 100 people for Chanel. We did last week. And, tomorrow
So
or Friday.
you do smaller, like 100 people.
Oh yeah. Yeah, totally. Yep. We'll do
that was
that.
for Chanel. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Light
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
I would love that light work.
Yeah, that's great. So Alan, your parents, you have a Thai mom, an American father. They
Yep.
met in Cincinnati.
WKRP.
Yeah. I love that you know
What?
all this about me, Dallas.
What?
I said, I love that you know all this about me. I know that, yeah. But yes, they met in Cincinnati.
I mean, what? How does that happen? How does
Uh,
a Thai woman meet an American man in Cincinnati?
I still don't know the full real story, but they met in college. But
In college? They were in
yeah,
college?
yeah. My mom went to like Catholic schools in Thailand, and then moved to Cincinnati when she was very young, like 18, 19.
Yeah. Is that where you got, Dee said, is that where you got your love of cooking? Is it from your mom or your dad, or like what was it from your mom?
No, I mean, honestly, it's just something that I fell into. It definitely
Right.
was
You weren't like
not,
Mr. Chef at home and then
not at
you
all.
got into hospitality. It was more the other way around. Hospitality happened to you.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I enjoy it now, but I still don't, it's kind of the running joke that I'm like, yeah, I own a catering company, but I love it. I can articulate it. I can present it, and I know what the processes are. But no, I'm definitely not a chef.
All right. So tell us a little bit about Sweetwater, and also, well, you told us about room service. Tell us a little about the Sweetwater.
Well, I'm going to tell you about the other part of room service, which I think that is going to speak to a lot of people, and we're just launching it in January
Okay.
1. We are, in addition to doing the corporate side, we're doing like a more public-facing side. So we're going to start in Hancock Park, and in January 1st, and I have these ginormous Sprinter trucks that are, like the biggest Sprinters that they have, that are outfitted with commercial kitchens on them. So they're like these rolling restaurants, and it's like a private chef at your door. So, if you want room service, but you're having a staycation at home, then you have that opportunity with Room Service Neighborhood. It's called Room Service Neighborhood. And we, plate it and cook it literally in front of your
And
house.
it comes to your house. That's crazy. I'm gonna play the video, you guys. It might not, we might not hear the sound. We can't hear the sound, but it's usually recording. So Alan, don't worry about it. If you don't hear the sound, it usually does play for the audience.
Okay.
If it doesn't play, guys in the audience, just wait. I want you to see the van and check it out. One moment.
Yep.
One moment, 1 second, guys. Here we go.
This is the most LA thing. Marvel.
You hear it, Judy? You can't hear it, probably. The chef at your door. There's drinks too.
Yeah.
And they were the neighborhood private chef. Woo! When is that available?
Come
Come
on.
to my house. That
Come
is great.
on.
Congratulations on that.
Oh yeah. So we're super excited about that. Super excited.
That's gonna hit. That's gonna hit, Alan. That's great. So you use I love the ending where you use a private chef for the neighborhood. So whatever neighborhood, that's really great.
Yeah. So we just, you'll sign
Did you
up.
test pilot it? Did you test pilot it at all? Or?
We're doing it December. So we're doing it next month.
Wow.
We're going to do it for 2 weeks, and just with my friends that are, we're going to start in my neighborhood, and it's just like friends that are in the neighborhood, and we're just going to have them order every day, and just go, house to house, and test run it, and then, hopefully by January 1st, we'll have all the kinks worked out. But yeah, excited.
That's exciting. That's so amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that's the business. So that one's called room service as well.
Room service neighborhood. Yeah.
Room service neighborhood.
Yep.
Amazing. Any other questions you have, Dee?
No, I'm just like fascinated, even more so than doing my
Why, thank you, Dee.
research, and I'm happy to get to meet you.
And
I think
big
you're-
shout out to your wife,
and
who
your
also I
girls.
met, and your girls who had kept, when you do a serious business like yours, the wifey at home has to keep it organized, especially with twin girls, only 3, and then the oldest daughter's only 3 years. For a mother to be at home, big up to all the moms that keep the homestead.
Salute
Right?
those down.
Oh, yeah.
To the mom.
Gigantic hug from me, please.
Yeah.
She's a soldier. She's amazing.
All right,
I
so
already know.
Well, I
let's
couldn't have
breathe
done
out. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
No, I literally, none of this would have happened. And I'm not just saying this to, to be nice, but it literally, none of it would have happened without her, because not that she was, she was, ironing uniforms in the beginning, but it's more about like, I've always felt like, you know what, if it doesn't work out, then screw it. I've got my wife, and we could go live with her parents, so she's always been like my insurance card. Like,
yes,
I've been able to be able to fail because I'm a resourceful guy, and I'll figure it out, and I can take this risk. And as long as I've got, my wife, then I'm going to take the risk.
That's the Thai way, man. That's the Thai way. Be resourceful. And honestly, she's done such a great job. I met her. She's absolutely gorgeous. And for to have twins, and when that happened to you, I'm sure it was around when you had Ebell House or the other. I mean, it was definitely within the mix of all that you were doing. So big up to you and your family. So I think it's time to play a little word game. So we're going to say a word, name, or phrase, and you can say what comes to mind. It can be a word or phrase or commentary, whatever comes to your mind. Are you ready?
Yes. What if I said no? I'm ready.
That's okay. We're end the interview right now.
Okay.
Ready? Anthony Bourdain, no reservations.
Incredible. One of my favorites. Yeah.
My favorite too.
I just bought a big piece of art, literally hung it up last week with Anthony Bourdain. It's like a sketch of him in our conference room at our office in Woodland Hill. Yep.
I know the audience loves Anthony Bourdain too.
Yeah, who doesn't? Love that guy.
Okay, number 2.
Yes.
Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah. I like his mentor, Marco Pierre White, even more. And I have a big photograph of Marco Pierre White in the same boardroom. And,
wait, who's Marco Pierre White, so people know?
So he is he was the OG,
chef, right?
Chef that was like the one that was, Gordon Ramsay was his intern. He made Gordon Ramsay cry.
He made Gordon. No way.
Yeah. So Marco Pierre White is just this, iconic, incredible old. He was the OG like screamer in the kitchen and just like total berating his staff and yes chef and so he was the mentor of Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay, Marco Pierre White. Really cool look, because I remember we did a pre-interview and you had a picture of him in your office. Really cool rock and roll looking guy.
Very rock and roll.
Is he French? Is that a French guy?
No, he's British.
He's British.
Yeah, he's British.
The British know how to lay it out. Okay, America's Got Talent. Simon Cowell.
I don't know anything about Simon Cowell.
Okay, next.
I don't know anything about Simon Cowell. I've never even seen the show.
2020 pandemic.
2020 pandemic was, I got to tell you, it was possibly the greatest time of my life.
Wow.
Literally, we reminisce about that I reminisce about that with my kids, and we always say, don't you wish it was a pandemic again? Don't you wish it was a pandemic? Because we would like be Tuesday afternoon at 11 o'clock riding bikes all through the neighborhood. And, there was it was so free. And I feel like professionally, I feel like I handled that better than anything that I've ever done professionally, because I think we furloughed everybody one day, but everybody kept their jobs. We didn't
Awesome.
not pay anybody.
Amazing.
You know, we took advantage of PPP and all of that, but but that didn't last long. That was maybe
Right. Yeah, of
3
course.
months
Yeah, good job.
but I still was able to keep everybody on, and just with a 20% decrease in their salary, but that's it. And they were making that up with what the government was, subsidizing. So I felt really proud of that. I knew it from the beginning. I knew that,
Can't hear me.
you know what, I know that, we're going to be okay. I mean, just, financially and everything, it's not like something that, unless this goes 5 years, but then we're all in the shits.
What's
Yeah.
the first thing you do when you arrive at an event?
Well, I'll be honest with you, I don't go to many events anymore, but
How can you? You can't be in 3 cities at once. What's wrong with you?
yeah. So, but I have been going to more as of late. And, when the team gets there, they just, they get in touch with a planner or whomever is the site, person. But, for the big events, we have planned it for months and months and months and a lot of times. And, there's just so many people and so much, like, that's the tough part, is just to have it run like a well-oiled piece of machinery, as they say, just to be able to have all of our production and operations team is phenomenal. So, our
first thing you do is check in with the team.
Yeah, they, check in and check everybody in and make sure that, everybody kind of looks the part. And I know that, everybody, even from setup, we make sure that they're not like wearing, their big dangly earrings or have their, like a shirt that's wrinkled or whatever. So we do make sure that we, everybody knows what the menu is. Everybody goes through a little, meeting with the chef, and everybody's aware of all of the allergens in the food. And, so they have to have like a little debriefing.
So check in with the team. First thing you do, check in with the team. Last thing you do when you leave one of your events.
Yeah. The last thing the person that leaves the event does is just goes around with whomever is in charge of the venue.
No, you.
I don't go to events. I went to Jay's and Bianca's gold party.
Ellen, you're fired. You are fired because in the pre-interview, you said tip the bartender.
I don't tip. I never tip. I didn't say that. I tip the bartender. Maybe if I go to an event, if I go to like not my event, but we don't even allow tip jars on the bar.
Maybe I don't.
You are on mushrooms. You are microdosing when we have that pre-interview.
Anyway, thank you so much, Alan. This is amazing, and we have to have you back because there's just so much. Yeah, unless you want to talk about something else.
No, we're good. We're good.
I need to introduce you to a really good friend of mine who's a former pro skater that is a chef.
Yeah, everybody knows a chef. Did you notice that?
Yes,
everybody knows a chef, right,
yeah,
Alan?
And I need to know more chefs, so I definitely need to we're always looking for talent. Always.
Always looking for talent.
Okay.
Yeah, big time.
Room service, neighborhood room service. So, what city is it starting in? How can we order or whatever? What's the business model?
So, unfortunately, it's just going to be in a really, really, really small demographic to start, because we're going to start in Hancock Park in Los Angeles, and it's because we just there's only so many stops that a truck can make, and at 30 minutes each stop, there's like basically 4:30 to 10 o'clock at night. Every 30 minutes, you can make a stop, and so it's up to 8 people, and then once we get, if somebody in the Palisades wants it, or somebody in Bel Air wants it, or somebody Beverly Hills, whatever, if we get enough requests for it, then we'll have more trucks that will go service those areas.
where can people follow you on social media? Like, what are your handles and all of that so that we can follow this journey?
Sweetie, I am so embarrassed. Okay, I'm going to tell you this.
Let the people know.
Nothing makes me feel older than social media because I am so bad. Like, I'm barely on Facebook. I don't even, Trail A Catering, I'm assuming is our handle. And I don't even know what the room service, I'm terrible. Somebody else handles that. I'm really,
person for that.
I think it's Trail A Catering, Sweetwater Cocktails.
Okay, because I want to follow. I'm
Okay.
nosy, so I'm asking.
Please look up Trail A Catering and everything will.
Trail A group, guys, if you go to the website and you can get hooked up with him, whether you need an event or having an event. So what is the city that you're doing it in LA, right?
Yeah.
Room service.
Yeah.
So you starting out with one van, two van, like a couple of
Yeah,
vans?
we got two. We've got 2 trucks.
2 trucks, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, so is it going to be like you order and then, or is it a special event? Like it's an event?
No, it's only up to 8 people. It's 2 to 8 people, and you have to order 24 hours.
Like you can have a little dinner party, basically.
A dinner party, or just for your family. If you know, it's
That's
for
amazing.
people that, you know, if they have a private chef or if they, you know, are considering having a private chef or whatever, then this is an alternative. If they just want something 2 days a week or 3 days a week or whatever, this is literally, I mean, we have plates and everything that, you know, room service plates, and we bring it plated, or we bring it in the boxes, whatever you want. And it's like your neighborhood's private chef. Just, you know, that's really what it is.
That is
It's so brilliant.
I want that, like,
Yeah.
Seriously. It's
Yep.
so brilliant.
Great, Alan. Thank you so much. This is so much fun.
Yep.
And guys, thank you for tuning in. This is live.
Thank you, Alan.
So,
Doing it live.
so good talking with you both. Idalis, so good to see you always. You're a delight. Yeah,
You are too. And do you ever age? Do you ever,
Yes,
Alan?
I do.
Alan, this
I
guy
do.
looks the same.
How
He's
old are
looked the
you?
same since he was 25.
That is not true.
How old are
at
you
all.
now? Tell me how old you are. You always
I'm
tell me something.
53.
Oh, you
What?
old fart. You're 53. Shut
I'm
the
50.
front
I look
door.
older according to my
God.
kids with my mustache. So my
Sure,
November
Alan. You
mustache.
never age.
I do.
All right,
age, trust me.
that's Alan Dunn-TRES LA Group. Go to the website. You can see everything that I've shown here. It's incredible. We're looking forward to room service neighborhood that's coming to a neighborhood near you. Thank you everybody for
Thank you,
watching.
Alan.
Make
All
sure.
right, ladies, thank you so much.
Big hugs to your girls and to your amazing wife.
All right.
And
thank you.
again, if you guys want to get some more information on how you get to launch your own podcast, Let's Talk on Camera podcast, go to idalismedia.com, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.